Okay, there we go. And we're live in three, two, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Planet Mullins podcast. Da-da-da-da. I'm kicking off season 4 today with a fantastic uh, group. Sisters Kris and Alix Angelis. They're singer-songwriters from California. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so thanks so much for coming on. I'm honored to have both of you. Kris has done the show before, and that was pre-pandemic. But now today we have the lovely and talented both of you. You're going to sing and play and talk about the. You've got so much exciting stuff to talk about. You're on a roll with the career, and you got a brand new album coming out September 9th, and then you're going to play the Hotel Cafe on August 25th. And I don't even
Yep.
know where to start. You can just start with anything. Tell me about the live gig. Are you both going to be on that gig?
Yes. I am the singer-songwriter generally. This Alex is a wonderful
Generally,
actress.
100%.
I am 100%. Alex is a very talented actress and writer and director, but she can also sing really well. She sings harmonies with me whenever I can get her to. So
Cool.
to be clear, and yes, she will be joining me at the Hotel Cafe on August 25th to celebrate the release of my new album Damn Shame Waste, which is coming out on September 9th.
That is so cool.
And since we talked about the stuff that's going on with me, you should tell some stuff that's going on with you with your career too, because you're here.
Well, I'm an actress, and I have an exciting horror thriller movie coming out.
Wow.
Not sure exactly when. You know how these things go. It could be at a festival, could be
What's it
in
called?
theaters. It's called Do Not Watch, but don't let that stop you.
Yeah, please watch.
Yeah.
Now,
So, yeah.
in the movie, how long are you alive in the film? Do you get killed off? Like a lot of times, the pretty girls get killed off in the movies.
Well, I can't tell you that.
Oh, so you do get killed off.
I mean, that's an assumption that you're making.
Yeah,
I,
that would be a spoiler.
oh, I've seen some videos on YouTube of the two of you singing together in the past, and it's amazing just how tight and in tune and wonderful. It just seems like it's an effortless thing for you. Is that because of the twin factor? Did you practice
I
for
mean,
years of lessons, or how did that happen?
We definitely practiced, but I think that the identical DNA thing.
and we've been doing this for a long time. Honestly, we've been singing together since we were like 5. We wrote a song together when we were 3. We didn't harmonize though. But
so
yeah, when
unison.
when we were younger, like when we were like 9, 10, we were starting to figure out how to harmonize. We would go to our parents would put us to bedtime so they could like have their adult time, and we wouldn't sleep. We would just lay there in bed and like sing harmonies together. Um,
There you go.
so it's become kind of it comes naturally now from doing it so much, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's pretty incredible. She's the one who I think taught me how to harmonize, because I was so used to taking the lead, and she just got so good at it. Because I don't know, like I do this to her sometimes, where I'll just be like, she'll be in the audience, and I'll be like, "Hey, I have this new song, Alex, come sing with me," and she's like not heard the song before, and she'll figure it out. She's really good.
The lyrics part is kind of tricky.
Whatever, she figures it out. We
Yeah.
know
We use our
So
our twin powers.
twin powers.
So, Kris, on this new album, Damn Shame Waste, I listened to a couple of the preview cuts, and not only did the harmonies and how beautiful they are strike me as great, but it just seems like you're kind of going in a new direction.
In what way?
In the just the it's more sounds more introspective, this album to me, than some of the.
Yeah, so I was curious if you felt like I was going in a different way, like sound wise, like production wise, or more kind of content wise. And content wise, I think yes, because a lot of my songs have been very much like sad heartbreak songs. And not that there isn't any of that on this, don't worry if that's why you're here, people. Um, but there is a lot more of, yeah, introspection, of kind of coming to a place of coming through struggles and dark times, and finding empowerment and self-love and all of that.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, the first piece with the 12/8 feel that kind of gets going. It just, I don't know, it sounds more refined to me in some sort of way,
Cool.
maybe more polished than some of the earlier stuff. But still, the challenges that we all go through, and I haven't seen you or talked to you since pre-COVID. What was the COVID era like for you guys? I mean,
I mean, stayed at home a lot more than before. You know, in 2019, I did that whole 50 state tour thing,
right.
and then I just stayed in one place for a long time, which I had not done.
But the streaming performing became like
Yeah,
shot up way up during the pandemic.
people, I think, yes, were a lot more willing to watch a live stream because it was the only option. I've
Well,
been doing live streaming for a couple of years before that, but it became very, it was the thing to do.
right.
Honestly, it was a pro and a con, because it more people were like, yes, this is the way I'm going to watch something, and I'm going to support this way because it's the way to support, because you can't go to a show. But it also became very saturated. Like, now suddenly I'm competing with,
Adele.
Taylor Swift doing a live stream or something. I don't know if she did, but you know what you know what I'm saying.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, one of the things that has always impressed me about you, Chris, is your seemingly boundless level of energy. Because when we talked, in the first time that you came on my program, you were just, saying, well, I've got this Patreon going and I'm doing this live stream, and then I've got a live gig, and then I'm in the studio, and then I'm traveling all 50 states. I mean, it kind of wore me out to just listen to your schedule.
Let's be very honest here. Me too. It wore me out. Like, I want to be really real, because I think it's important. Because artists, especially now, are expected to do so much. Not only do you have to be a singer and songwriter and, like, know how to produce your own stuff, and like, you have to also be a master at marketing, and, keeping up with all the different platforms, and doing all these different things. And like, I'm my own booker, I'm my own everything. I'm not to say that I don't have a wonderful group of people around me that are helping me. I'm definitely not doing it all by myself, but I don't have, like a big label and people that like do
Right.
all the things. So I will say, yes, I'm glad that it appears as though I have unlimited energy, but that is definitely not the case. Out there feeling like they are just struggling, or they're tired or whatever. It's not like, don't compare yourself to me in a way that's like, oh, she's just doing so much. Like, oh my gosh,
You're tired.
I'm tired. And I got to a place actually last year, and I think this is why the Damn Shame Waste album came to be what it was, is I got totally burned out. I'm just gonna be totally honest. I hit a really hard brick wall,
Okay.
and had to take a break. And I think that was really good for me. And I'm still going through the
Recovering.
process of recovering from, being a workaholic, and like,
Well, it's not, in your defense and in mine as well, and for any artist, we really don't have the option of sitting on our laurels anymore, because what happens is the competition just is racing and racing and racing and racing along.
well, yeah, it's because of the internet, double-edged sword that it is, because it's amazing that we have access to millions of people from our bedrooms, where we didn't used to have that. But it's also made it this, yeah, constant. You have to be constantly putting stuff out, in order to be relevant, and that can be exhausting. I think that it's very exciting as well as exhausting. Let's just be real. I'm
Uh,
not trying to like badmouth it or anything, but like you said, we have to try to create a scenario in which we don't feel like, oh, it's not an option to stop, because like that's just not sustainable. It's not healthy. And
These are the days of your life.
yeah. What? How do you feel about that, Alex? About that whole like, I mean, it's a little different, not in the music industry, but do you feel like
Oh
the same
yeah.
pressure to be?
I mean, no, because I just don't know what content I would put out there. Like I think, you
I
know,
mean, you could like make your own web series or something.
well, I do work on my own things, and we, write and direct, and I've done some short films, and I have a feature in the works, and I create my own work, but it's not in the same way. It's not like this constant content, like
Right.
in
Like you have,
quantity,
you must
you know?
post every day, several times a day.
Yeah. And I've been tempted or like sort of advised to get on TikTok or but it's not. It would be something completely different, and I don't think that I want to spend my energy, especially now with my baby, doing something that's not exactly in line with my dreams. So, you know, I'm just
It's a
doing what I
different
can
medium.
and
It's a
what?
different, it's a completely different medium though, working with
Yeah.
video and film.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of a, end result kind of thing where you go, okay, I have this deal. Now I'm going to, put it in a theater or put it on the internet and people have that experience. Whereas when you're a person performing music, that's the key thing. It's the performing of the music. People are like, you must perform the music. You must this, you
Yeah.
must that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pros and cons because I don't have constant content to like give to people, but I also don't have it, so I don't have to be presenting it all the time, which is nice.
Right. Right. Well, the presenting it all the time thing is something that makes me kind of crazy. I mean, I have this show that I do that's gaining in popularity, and I'm thrilled to have people like you guys on and stuff. But now I'm booking my live gigs. So once things started to open up after the pandemic, then booking the live gigs for me is a lot like what Kris said. It's like you have to manage and you have to promote and you have to do posters and you have to
And
do,
yeah,
uh,
and you have to
you
get
know,
everyone to come out, and then you have to
gotta
drive
have
there, and you
somebody
have to do
to
everything.
show up and stuff. And I think it's for me now, I'm just kind of being a little pickier with the things that I do because I get called to do a lot of stuff in LA. I'm a keyboard player and I can play any style of music and I'm a producer too. And I love pop and I love funk and I wrote a lot of uh, rap tracks back in the 90s.
Hmm.
I'm more known as like a jazz piano player, but now I want to just kind of focus on situations where, yes, they already have the sound system. Yes, they already have the piano. Yes, the piano is going to be in tune. These are basic things that are just,
Yeah.
they're so hard to find in LA too. There's only a couple of places that are like that, but I'm just past the days of let me throw
Yeah.
an entire PA in the back of the truck and then
I feel ya for sure. And I think that's, some people from the outside could think like, oh, you're a snob and you like need all this stuff, but it's like, no, you just like have gotten to a point where that's like, it's not worth it to me to do that all anymore, and that's your choice. Like, um,
right.
and it just reminds me of the first time that I went on tour in Europe. I did
I
this
didn't
month
know
long.
that you'd ever toured Europe. You didn't tell.
Yeah, I did
Oh,
this month long tour in Germany. Went a
wow.
little bit to Belgium and the Netherlands.
Okay.
And I tell you what, it was me and a guitar player, just us. We were carrying our own, two guitars, like a little like percussion thing, and our entire PA and lights and all this stuff and all the merch,
Oh my
carrying them, just the two of us, on public transportation,
God.
trains and buses, because we couldn't afford to rent a car.
Wow.
And it's like
Hmm.
during that whole tour, I was just like, you know what? This is fine. I'm doing
Never
the thing,
forget that
and
ever.
yeah, and I was like, and when I'm in a tour bus someday, or even just a van, I am going to know for sure that I paid my dues. Like, I have
Absolutely.
no qualms about that.
Well, it's kind of a age uh, specific thing too. I mean, I'm at the point to where I've done all of these world tours and I played with all these celebrities and got really spoiled doing all of that. And I think if I were younger and well, I went to Europe when I was 20 with a guy who was a total stranger I met at a jazz festival. He just said, you're great, man. I got to take you to Europe and introduce you to all my German friends. And I was like,
That's great.
so, 2 weeks later, I'm on a plane flying into Frankfurt, Germany, with this guy who ended up being a really scary person. Like he had camera gear, and he'd flown cocaine inside the camera gear all the way to Germany, and he had all of this weed and stuff in his bag, and this was before TSA and 9/11 and all that. And
Yeah.
we get into this rented BMW leaving the airport, and he says, "Man, we got to stop and get some beers." So I love drinking beer while I drive. And you got to be kidding. And so he says, "No, everybody does it in Germany. Let's do it." So he sets up this beer, and he's just chugging these beers, and we're going down the Autobahn at like 200 kilometers an hour. He says, "Isn't this great? Welcome to Germany."
And you're like, no, I'm terrified. Please let me out.
I was
Oh my
scared to
gosh.
death, of that whole scenario.
Yeah.
But being that age, it was, I lived through it and everything, and I'm still here today. And now it's a story that I could tell if I ever had kids or grandkids. I could say, "Oh, you have no idea what danger really is, kids."
Until you get on a plane with a random person you just met.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I'm not going to take those kind of chances now. But I see that during the sound check there was a guitar.
Yes,
Yes,
there
and
was.
I think the great thing to do right now is if you'd be so kind to play something from the new project.
I would love to.
That would be great. So the album is called Damn Shame Face, folks. It comes out on all
Yes.
platforms on September the 9th, 2022. And if you are not familiar with Kris, you can get her music and check her out. She's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, the album Damn Shame Waste, I'm going to explain why it's called that after I play.
Okay.
But this is a song called Run, which you can already stream. It's already out. It's one of the singles.
Nice.
And you can also pre-order the whole album for just $5 at my website, krisangelis.com. So here we go. Turning down the sound. Sorry.
Being squished.
I think I aged more today than in all the years before. The storm within my soul has been unkind. So let's get lost and found, with our hearts beating so loud, they're drowning out the questions in our minds. And we'll run, 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 run deep into the night. Embrace the dark and count the stars we can't see in the light. She said darkness is our friend, but I've always been afraid. There's no compass and no map in this masquerade. Don't know what I've become, but I heard the morning dove, and I'll learn to sing a silent serenade. And run, 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 run deep into the night. Embrace the dark
Wow.
Thanks.
Yeah, you guys are really good at this.
Thank you.
Now, the title of the song that you just performed for us, is that the title track, or is there a title track, or how does that work on this one?
Um, that is the not the title track. The title actually of the album comes from a song called Paper Planes, um, where the line, so Paper Planes is actually about my dad who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and so he's been struggling with his memory and all kinds of things, feeling like he's not able to do as much anymore. And he was always very he was a nurse and he was very helpful, and so it's been hard for him. And he used to be a flight nurse for the Air Force.
Oh,
And so the
wow.
song is about that. It's about saying, like, you used to soar across the sky on $1 million wings. And then it goes on into say, like, but you are everything you've always been is still the love you've had for everyone is still running through your veins. You're everything you've always been. You're just flying paper planes now. And the
Wow,
the
that's
verses.
incredible. That's incredible.
Oh, thanks. And there's one of the verses that says, it kind of goes through the different things that are going on, like, oh, it's okay if you put things in a different place. It's okay if you forget my name and remember my face. You know that you love me and I want you to stay, and worrying about anything else would be a damn shame waste. So that's where that line comes from. So
Oh, okay.
as much as damn shame waste, I realize it sounds kind of negative. It comes from that place. And I realized that it did apply to kind of the whole album, in that a lot of it is coming from, yeah, you can interpret it in a bunch of different ways, as you can interpret songs in all the different ways. But it's like a lot of my songs have been about heartbreak, and some of them on the album still are about losing love, and or them losing my love, which is just a shame, isn't it? It's just sad for them. And 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 or things like just having spent so much of my life in so much anxiety and regret, and that's just a waste. It's a waste of time. And so feeling like, realizing that even though I'm looking back on that now, I could even go into a loop of feeling bad and shaming myself for wasting so much time. And it's just like, no, 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 stop, 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 stop.
That's a really
Just
that's a really good point, and I think it's taken me a lot of years to kind of realize that too, because at the end of a relationship that was really serious, or a career change, like getting fired from a band, or having physical problems. Like I couldn't walk for 2 years during high school because I was in this horrible car crash.
oh wow, yeah.
Kind of stuck. But especially as the years roll by, I'm starting to understand. People used to say, well, you have to be in the present moment, which is true, but you have to be willing to just let that stuff go and move forward. Forward motion is the most important thing. For me as an artist. I even wrote a
Hmm.
song that I debuted at a jazz festival a couple months ago, just called Forward Motion. And it's about letting all that go, and you're just going to keep on
Exactly.
moving in the positive direction. And that's
Exactly.
a lot harder than it sounds when the world is such a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, definitely, as we get all philosophical now, it's, of course, one, people should be aware of, you know, what's going on in the world, and help when they can, but it's also not healthy to just only focus on that. Like, it's not wrong to try to enjoy and feel peace and enjoy, even though painful, terrible things happening in the world. I think it's our responsibility to feel as much joy and peace as we can,
Right.
because then we can put that into the world, and hopefully those terrible, painful things will become less
It's
for
all
everyone,
it's all a balance.
right? Yeah. I mean, not to say that just go around just ignoring things and
Yes,
doing whatever you want, but like,
your Instagram posts on the beach in Mexico will save the world.
No, they won't. But
Just kidding.
you know, it's not that simple.
I know. I'm just kidding. That I know that's not what you're saying.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. But point being, the album title is saying, yes, there are a lot of things that to be upset about. There are a lot of things that are a shame. There are a lot of things that are a waste. But worrying about them moving forward would also be a damn shame waste. So
Right,
that's what
right.
that's about.
Because you get, well, what happens is people get stuck in these weird behavioral patterns. And I think
Mhm.
since my career started way before there was social media and the music industry was really controlled. So
Mhm.
this had, there was a clear path and society was totally different. And, you could get on Billboard and you could do a tour and this, and that, and the other thing, but it was much more kind of, the record companies were saying to the public, here's, the artist, and the artist would put forth their message. And now, um, because I do some marketing, marketing for my own stuff, I learned how to do that for a few other people. It's a minefield. Social media is a total minefield. You could go out
Mhm.
there on Facebook and you could say, you know, I really like tomatoes with this certain kind of mushroom on my salad. And it could be the end of your account because the anti-mushroom, pro-tomato people, they are going to have a fit because you didn't pick the right kind of tomato. And
Oh my gosh.
tomatoes that come from a certain area are better than the tomatoes that come from somewhere else. And you kind
Yeah.
of get the point of what I'm saying because I have this conversation with my uncle a lot, who's a retired blues piano player from Kansas City. And he's like all the way to one political spectrum. And I'm kind of, on the other side from him in a lot of ways too. But we just have these conversations and we can go drink and we can go hang
Yeah.
out. I can just say, hey man, you're full of crap. And he can say, hey man, you're full of crap. Cheers. And then at the end, it's all done. We're just like,
Yeah, but
fine.
the internet is like a whole
Yeah.
crazy situation where people don't really see each other as people,
Yeah.
and it's hard.
It's the realm
One
of,
of
go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
I was just gonna like pile on the most engagement that a tweet of mine ever got was this: I miss Borders bookstores. And the amount of like pushback I got, like, because oh my God, how could you? The small bookstores need your, support, and that's just like I'm like, well, being a monster bookstore didn't really help it. That's why they're gone. And I, sorry, I liked them.
Yeah. And also it's like, yeah, when people get all uppity about like, okay, but I didn't say small bookstores suck and should all die. Like, you just said you missed something. Like,
Yeah.
like it's like as if someone looked at someone and said, I love you, and then everyone else in their life goes, I guess you hate me.
Right. That's exactly
Whoa.
that's the perfect analogy because the as the world gets stranger and the news is more difficult to listen to, people are so on the edge and they're stressed right to the very maximum all the time.
Well, it's
So,
because of all of this.
It's just it continues. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Everybody's stressed about them being stressed, and I mean, it's like what we were just talking about. Let's just not worry so much about it.
I mean, yes, of course, work towards making a difference, a positive difference, if you can, if it's productive.
That's the main thing.
But you do have to take care of your own mental health too. Put your mask on before you put others on, and then care about others. Simple,
right,
simple
right.
thoughts. Care about other people.
Right.
Make sure that you're also healthy.
I hear that all of the time too from close friends of mine as they say, we're in a world of everybody is so selfish and it's so me, and they're not caring about other people. And I just say, well, that's how Hollywood has always been. It's kind of like a
Yeah. I also will just say,
okay, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I also will say there's care about other people as in have compassion and like help people when you can, but and when you're able to and you have the resources to. But also some people need to stop caring so much about other people. Like really. like who they love and what they're doing and what they're wearing doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
Stop it. You know what I mean? Like there's
Well,
certain different kinds of caring that we need
live and
to
let live.
have more or less of.
Yeah.
Well, I just artistically speaking, one of the things that's been really challenging for me is I try and run my Instagram feed, which I'm not very good at, and run my Facebook feed, which I think now really good at, is just the disappointment that goes with, I'll make this song that'll be unbelievable. Like the chords will be new movement that I've never done before, and it'll be this piano technique that I just invented for that particular song. And I'll put that song up and I'll post it, and then I'll get like one like. And
Yeah.
and then, I'll take a picture of a sandwich and it'll get 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
So this is what, that kind of balance, Alex was saying, it's a balance. I think that's an imbalance. It's like, why do people find my sandwich so much more interesting than this amazing music that I've built over
Yeah.
the 40
But
Well,
years?
it's
then
because
that
they can
goes-
relate to the sandwich more.
Yeah, but then that
Maybe.
is an opportunity to go, I really felt fulfilled by the new music. And that's what's important. And
Uh,
you share it, and I'm sure there were people and that one person that really resonated with them, you know?
right.
And that's just as important as the sandwich, if not
Well,
more.
um, I think it's all leading to me creating my new album, Damn Shame Sandwich.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure if a sandwich could be animated, it would probably shame me for something.
It'll probably shame you for something. You gotta get a different sandwich. You gotta get those supportive sandwiches.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I need is I need a support sandwich.
Yes.
Oh my God. Can you get those at LAX?
No food or drink on this bus. Oh, but this is my emotional support sandwich. Actually,
That's a
true.
good album name.
Emotional support sandwich. Yes.
There you go. You're welcome.
That
But
was-
that's like really real because I get hangry.
Yeah.
yeah. So, speaking of these things that are coming up for you guys now, so far I got 3 important things. Hotel Cafe is August 25, right?
Yep. August
Is it-
25th, main stage, 9 p.m. Pacific time. And the cool thing is you can come in person. I hope you will because it'll be fun. And it's also kind of be our like little birthday party because we didn't have one. It was last month, our real birthday, but we're
Wow.
gonna be like, yay, it's our party for the album and us being born. I don't know. And so come celebrate if you can, if you're in LA, but also it's gonna be live streamed. So it's going to be really cool. Like there's 5 different cameras. It's going to be a really great little way to watch the show and see stuff that I don't normally do on live stream, like ever. I'm having a full band and everything. So
Oh, a full
you can
band.
buy tickets wherever you are.
That's wonderful. Okay. And then coming up after that, then the new album, Damn Shame Waste, will be
Mhm.
available September 9th.
Yep.
That's going to be all streaming platforms all over the world. And it's only $5. And, I think everybody should
Yeah, if
buy.
you pre-order, it's $5.
Buy at least 2 copies of it because this is the thing about I'm from the era where we would get $15.95 for a Rob Mullen CD on Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Be something to split at the end. Even though the record company would be totally screwing me, I'd still walk away with like 75 cents or 2, I think Michael Jackson, the most he ever made on one of his album projects was $2 a unit. And
Wow.
for the Thriller album, and those lawyers had to fight for years to get Michael Jackson up to $2 out of the 15. Can you believe that?
Yeah. I mean,
Now-
I do believe that because, the labels take most of it, but they're also doing a lot for you.
Right. Well, I liked the part about the labels doing a lot for me, but I didn't like the part about looking at my royalties and going, did they really do that much?
Yeah, no, I hear you, but I'll tell you what, like being a totally independent artist, I'm paying for everything. And so, hey, yes, I would hope that yes, I get to have all of the money from it and,
For sure.
struggling with actually even making a profit. So,
Well, you worked really
based
hard.
on all of the based on all the expenses that I have.
Well,
So I hear it. If I was a record label, I would want to make my money back too.
you're right.
I can see both sides.
Well, once you've been on every side of the equation, then you have a much more circumspect kind of realistic picture
Yeah.
about how all of it works, because I found myself many times doing that too. I'm like, well, I could hire this, Grammy winning drummer to come play on this project, and that's going to cost me. I got to get cartage for his drums, and then we got to get a studio, and then
Mm-hmm.
I got to write charts for everything,
Yeah.
and, I got to pay him. Or I could just set up my little drum kit and get it done in a couple hours.
Yeah, and it, sometimes it really depends. Like, is it worth it? And sometimes it really is, and sometimes it's like, wait a second, am I thinking that I need to do this big thing to like look good, and it's feeding my ego, or is it actually going to make it better? That's
Right.
just some of the big questions I've had to ask myself now in terms of when I'm going to spend money and when I'm not.
No, I'm just so thrilled for you, Kris, because if more artists could be like you, that the world would be. I know it just sounds really stupid and corny, but if they could be more like you, it would just be wonderful.
Oh, well, that's
You
very
know,
sweet. I don't know in what way you mean, but that's very nice. Thank
I'll
you.
take it.
I'll take
so
it.
and okay, now number three, Alix, you have a film coming out, and it's a horror movie. And do you have a release date for that, or is that still secret?
I well, it's just unknown. We just finished filming it, so it has to be edited and sent
Oh,
out, and
okay.
hopefully we'll,
But it was in deadline and stuff, right?
oh yeah, it was announced on deadline, and that's very exciting. But we don't know if it's going to premiere at a festival or on in theaters or what
Okay.
yet. So to be determined.
Beautiful. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for coming on the show, and Alix, especially you with the new baby and all that entails. And Kris, your spirit and your vibe is just so warm and wonderful. And
Well, thank you.
I wish you so much success with this new project. And I know my viewers are going to love this episode of the podcast. So,
I really appreciate you taking the time to give a platform for musicians like me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a way to get the word out to new people. So, thank you.
well, I don't have that many subscribers yet, and I don't have that many views, but the people that watch really do love it, you know,
Well,
and
that's you
there's a
need
lot of
you
industry
you can
people
do better with 100 true fans than 100,000 people that don't care.
than
So
100,000 robots
that's
that
all
you
right.
fly from India.
Exactly. Yeah. I
Those
don't
are
Yeah,
want
sandwich people.
I don't want robots.
yeah, yeah. The sandwich bots. Okay, you guys, have a great rest of your vacation. When are you coming back from Canada?
In a
Uh,
few days.
yeah, in a few days. Just real quick though, please follow Alix on Instagram, ALIXANGELIS.
Uh-huh.
And you can find me on all the things at Kris Angelis, KRISANGELIS. We spell our names weird. And you can find me at krisangelis.com. All of the socials, TikTok and Facebook and all of the things. You can buy the album and stream and all that stuff is on my website. Also, alexangelis.com. So you can see all of the movies and stuff that she already has out on Amazon and Netflix and all that good stuff.
Beautiful. Okay, folks, we're signing off. This is the end of the first episode in season 4 of the Planet Mullins podcast, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye, everybody.